With threats to our nation waiting around every corner, adaptability is more important than ever. When conditions change without notice, quick strategic thinking is crucial. And with obstacles consistently impending, determination is essential in overcoming them. It's this willingness, decisiveness, and resilience that sets Marines apart. With our fighting spirit, we don't just fight battles, we win them. Marines are the constant our nation counts on to fight the unknown. And through adaptable problem solving, we do just that. Learn more at marines.com.
It's only a kick, a jump, a block. It's only a serve. It's only a tackle, a run. It's only for the fans. After all, it's only pressure. You got this. Adidas.
With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Welcome to the Wrap Podcast, the place to catch up on all the regional and national rugby in Wales. You can find us on all the usual social media platforms and message us through there if you want, or you can email us on welshregionalrugbypod@gmail.com. So all the boring stuff out the way, let's talk rugby.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Wrap Podcast with me, Lee G. Joining me as usual, Jamie and James. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
And joining us from Cardiff, so we benched Harley this week. We've gotten to the 75th minute, and we've gone, right, we nearly need to nail this down now, so we're bringing on the big guns. And from the Cardiff Central podcast and from Pod Cymru is Carwyn. Good evening, Carwyn.
Good evening, Lee. How you doing?
Good, mate. Good. So, in addition to that, because we've got Black Lions this week and nobody's got a bloody clue about the Black Lions, we brought in an expert in all things minor European club related. Friend of the pod, Francisco Isaac. How are you, friend?
Boa noite. Thank you for inviting me again.
It wouldn't feel the same if we don't see you at least once a month, mate. It just doesn't feel right, you know?
Well, that's you are special now for me. So once a month is good. I'll talk with Harley about the money that you're going to pay me to come here every time. Oh, it's the other way around. If I have to pay you, I can give money, but I can give you good beer from Madeira if you want.
Ah, there you go. See, now you're talking our language. There you do.
Yeah.
So
Good Madeiran beer is worth its weight in gold.
So, speaking of excellent drinks, who wants to kick off with drink of the week this week then? So, James, seeing as you fannied out with a coffee 2 weeks ago and then didn't have the guts to come and face the...
There it is. There it is. No, I am on my signature gin and blue lemonade. It is gorgeous. I'm still a bit frail from the works due on Friday and having to play on Saturday. So I've just stuck with the shorts tonight. So a nice little healthy gin with blue lemonade.
Healthy gin.
Healthy gin. Healthy gin. Healthy.
It's clear, and it's got berries.
Oh God! Oh my God! Carwyn, have you got anything, mate? And it was a little bit late notice and stuff. Have you got a drink of the week?
Yeah, you mentioned it was late notice, so I kind of just fished around in the fridge. So I had a choice between an Archer's Snapped and Lemonade or a Brewer Messi. Have a guess which one was mine, which one was my partner's. Not a fan of this. This Archer's, brand placement. The brand placement, that offer's gone out the window, isn't it? Archer's Snapped and Lemonade, not a fan of that, must be honest. But I'll be sticking to the beer and Moretti tonight, I think.
I like an Archer's lemonade, I won't lie. I'd have
Yeah.
that.
See,
I'll
my
I'll
wife's
send it in the post.
Oh, please do.
my wife's got a whole load of them as well. She's got like the Malibu and like the Malibu Pina Colada, the Malibu,
Yeah.
what's the other one? Strawberry Daiquiri and all that kind of stuff. So quite a few of those disappear over weekend. You know, they're quite nice. Yeah. Francisco, have you got any fancy European shit for us this week, mate?
Oh, fancy shit from your you are nice. I should have poncha, which is a Madeiran drink made by orange and lemon and rum and so on, but everyone drank the bottle yesterday. So I have just Madeiran beer, Cural,
Excellent. Cool.
which is a very good beer to drink. It's not the best one. In Portugal, the best one is Superboc, then Cural, and everything else is piss. You're drinking goblin's piss. If you come here and drink Sagres, you're drinking goblin's piss. So no Sagres.
I actually like that beer. It would surprise you to know. I do like Sagres. It's nice.
Then if we have a goblin uprising in the future, you can buy their own piss to drink then.
Oh, Jamie, what have you got for us this week, Jamie?
Well, we had all the Tiny Rebel chat, didn't we, on the last pod? And I haven't had Tiny Rebel for ages. And I was in M&S the other day and I saw it on the shelf. I thought, yes, let's have a Tiny Rebel, the Kutch beer, the original, the best, the Welsh Red Ale. This is the flagship beer. This is the beer that you can't go wrong with on Tiny Rebel. If you want a proper beer, this is the one to go for. And I absolutely love it. It's one of my favourites. And yeah, it's going down very nice, especially this
You
weather.
are talking like an addict who needed a fix there.
No idea what you're talking about.
Shaking, walking around M&S, I need a fix.
That's why
do.
That's why Welsh rabies is shit. You drink those kind of beers, it's a shit. It's not an actual alcoholic drink. That's making up. That's why you lose every game when you go to Europe and Six Nations.
This is why I like having Francisco on the pod, because he just slots in perfectly well. We'll kick off with that. So as I said earlier, it was my birthday on the weekend, and my boys both came home from university as a treat for me. And one of the presents that they got me was a beer called Girl from Mars. It's by Buxton Brewery. I've got like 8 weeks worth of 8 pods worth of beer to get through, and so much wine and spirits that you would not believe. I literally had to extend the drinks cabinet for Christmas. So, yeah, it's called Girl from Mars. It looks.
I like that can.
I was going to say,
can. I like that. I like that.
It looks like it's right up Jamie's street, to be honest. But I was looking through all of the stuff, so it's a cloudy-ish kind of thing. It's all right. It's quite nice.
Yeah.
But I was going through all the stuff they got me, and they're 8%, 8.5%, 7.5%.
You be careful now.
And I'm like, oh Christ, this one's 5, so that's calmed
okay
down. I can cope with that. But I got through that. So yeah. So that's I've got a whole load of them. Yeah. Oh, your Tiny Rebel's got some work to do over the next couple of weeks, my friend. Trust me.
It has. It absolutely has, isn't it?
Right. Okay. So we're going to do things slightly differently this week because we got Francisco here, but we're going to start off with a little bit of news desk. No introduction, James. Just straight into news desk. Off you go, mate. What have we got?
Okay, just a couple of news stories this week. Shouldn't take too long. So the first one, the Rugby paper are reporting that Bristol Bears have held talks with Dragons and Wales tight head Leon Brown. Brown is out of contract at Rodney Parade next summer. And while discussions have been held, terms have yet to be agreed. So that'll be quite interesting, one to keep an eye on. We've already seen George North, the first big summer signing, I suppose, going off outside of Wales. So it'll be interesting to see if Leon Brown and others will follow. So yeah, one to keep an eye on with that one. And the next story, after months of reports and continuous denials, it's going to shock you all to learn that Eddie Jones is set to be named Japan's new coach, just 6 weeks after walking out on the Wallabies. So Jones denied he'd spoken to Japan 14 times, according to the Sydney Morning Herald. But guess what? He's now going to take the role and is set to be confirmed later this week. So what do you think of that then?
He didn't lie. He didn't lie. He said he was not talking with Japan. He's talking with Japan. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. He's not lying. Come on.
He's kind of made a bed for himself, hasn't he? Can you imagine the next time Japan play Australia? It's just going to be this stuff that's going to get thrown at him.
What a shitstorm though for Australian rugby, and you can see this coming a mile off. The more he kept denying it, the more you thought he's going to be Japan's new head coach. You just knew it. And let's not forget, before the World Cup, when Australia played France in our warm-up, he had a Zoom meeting with the Japanese Rugby Union then, even before the World Cup. So he knew exactly what he was doing, and it just doesn't come as a surprise at all. I mean, he's a good coach, but a bit of a shit bloke to be doing stuff like that. I'm sorry. And no wonder the Australian Rugby Union are furious. So they should be, What a waste. They'd be better off just sticking with Dave Rennie, wouldn't they? If they just stuck with Dave Rennie, they wouldn't have any of this shit show. And they probably would have even got the pool stage, I reckon. But hey ho.
Can you imagine? Sorry, can you imagine if Japan only phoned Eddie Jones so he can give his opinion on future head coach? Say, you know what, mate, I might be interested in the job. but aren't you going to stick with Australia? Nah, mate, it's down on water now. I will go on to Japan again. Okay, then we interview you. Oh, I imagine that he took the job out of Dave Rennie's hands. Could you imagine? Maybe he hates Dave Rennie. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. Dave Rennie was going to Japan, and he said, "No, I'm going to get Dave Rennie's job again. It's going to be bingo night for me tonight."
Just to piss Dave Rennie off. Well, I heard that Carwyn was all set to do a Zoom call with Japan, but he couldn't find a fucking decent Wi-Fi signal, so that's why he's still here.
Oh, don't start on Wi-Fi signals, honest to God. This is the biggest palaver I've ever had in my life with Wi-Fi. Moved into the house end of October, bought the Wi-Fi, haven't had it yet, haven't had the Wi-Fi yet. It's start of December. No.
Oh,
they installed it the other day, and they were like, apparently the light needs to be under 27, minus 70, so it's broken. Cable's broken. So honestly, honest to God, it's an absolute disaster.
It could be worse, mate. You could be Martin on the Scarlets pod that tried to do a pod from his car while he was waiting for his kids at rugby training and just kept disappearing every 30 seconds. You come back on and you go, right, tell us about this, quick. Oh, no, he's gone. He's gone again.
That was the best pod you've done.
Martin podcasts like he's reporting from a war zone, just like cutting out every 10 seconds.
Ducking and hiding and incoming, and off he goes.
But he's on tune with the Scarlets. He disappears at every 30 seconds.
Oh,
he only plays half of the time.
Francisco, I knew I liked you.
Oh, okay. What was the score between the Scarlets? What was the score of the Scarlets and Cardiff, Francisco? And now that you're a big Scarlets fan,
I'm a Cardiff fan. I have cussed so many times, Harley, since the beginning of starting watching it. Oh, the Cardiff play well after 30 seconds. Oh no, this is going to end horribly for everyone.
Yeah, you're new to Cardiff, Francisco. I can tell. You need to get used to that. And Welsh rugby in general, I'm afraid. Yeah. This is how it is.
We're full of optimism, and then the ref blows his whistle and we kick off, and then it goes downhill. It's one of those things. Right.
You remind me seeing football games in Portugal. Some teams that before the game started, I knew a fan that was like this. He was very old, 80 years old, and before the ball was kicked, he said, "Come on, lads, tonight is our night." When the ref whistled, he said, "Fuck, we are done. We are going to lose big this night." It was every single day like this, and we all laughed. And it's like, I'm going home. He went to the booth and came back. Went to the booth and came back, and it was always like this. So I'm introduced with Cardiff.
Yeah, you'll get there like that with Cardiff. Right. So let's talk about games coming up this weekend. So let's talk about a Friday night game: Scarlets against Black Lions. Francisco, tell us about Black Lions. Where are they from? What do they play like? Who have they got playing for? I mean, they pushed Gloucester really, really close last weekend. It's the first time many of us will have seen them. So what are we expected to see this weekend?
Well, I expect to see the Black Lion, and I know everyone says Black Lions, me included, and it is the reasonable thing, Black Lions, but the team is called Black Lion. I don't know why. What was the decision? Why didn't it just put an S? If it was a marketing stunt or they ran out of money, I don't know. It's Black Lions. But look, they are the two-time Super Cup Rugby Europe Super Cup winners. They're going to try to for a third at the 22nd of December, and they are a very good team. At least 16 players from the Lelo squad play for the Black Lion, be it Sharikadze, Tabutsadze, Matkava, Ivinashvili, and some others. So it's a good team. And against Gloucester, I thought they're going to win. I had high hopes. But by the end of the game, they amassed 14 penalties against them, and the Gloucester only conceded 4. So it's one of the major letdowns. And I'll start with this. If the Scarlets can remain disciplined and focused for most of the game, they're going to win it. Because the Black Lion risk too much in the breakdown and try to slow the ball always in the ruck. And normally, when you get refs that are used to catch teams doing like this, like we saw with Stade Rochelet this weekend with O'Gara, nicely going, man, with the penalty count. But the Black Lion normally tries to do this to slow the other team. And they almost won against Gloucester, but I think they rushed things. And one of their main platforms to score tries is the maul. And if you go watch the full highlights, you can see at least one of the mauls that was driving directly to the try line. And because someone wanted to take the ball and score the try like the hero, the ball got lost and the referee couldn't see it. So it was just a try area drop goal. And that's basically two of the facts of the Black Lions, the maul and discipline. But I can talk about a lot of things about them. It's going to be a very physical game. They like to turn up the heat, very much like the Lelos, without the winger, the fullback, David. If anyone can help me.
I don't think any of us are going to be able to help.
No, you can. You play for Lyon. You'll know. But and they're missing some of the guys. Ted Abzanze plays in Brive and so on. But it's a good side. And the Scarlets don't take them seriously from the first minute. They're going to have a very bad night because normally they are very good at defense, and in attack they are efficient. Against Gloucester took the mission very serious from the get-go, and they won. But barely and scrappily won, because at the last 10 minutes I thought the Black Lion would get the win. But, they rushed things, and the main concern for them for Friday is to be more patient and calm, because they have the knack to win at least one game in the Challenge Cup.
So, am I right in thinking that the Black Lion team was put together as a bit like regionalisation in Wales, to bring all of the best players together and have at least one, top team that could come out and compete? It's not that old a club, is it? It's only about 4 or 5 seasons that they've been playing. Am I right on that? Are they really?
No, you're right on the money. The team was built around 2021. They started doing plans for 2020, and the idea was to give another type of competitivity to the players that were in Georgia. And the best players, or the players that are more poised to play for the national side, are picked. they land a contract for a full year. When they are not playing for the Black Lion, they can go back to their home teams and play for them in the what we call the DD10. Now it's just Georgian Premiership, but now and it works like national side without the players that are abroad in France or England or Italy or whatever. And it was a very good idea, and the project is running smoothly. But they need the Super Cup to continue to have more games. So last season they played in the Super Cup and went to South America. This season they went to South America and played the Super Cup. 2 years ago they played in the Rugby Super Cup and went to the Curry Cup. So it's a team that likes to travel. It's a way to professionalize players and give a different life to them. And it worked for the Lelos for most of 22, 21 and 22. Unfortunately, what we saw in the World Cup, I think, raised some concerns if the Black Lion was working, because some of the players that were picked from the team didn't mount that much in the World Cup, and the World Cup was the biggest goal for them. But for now, the project is unaltered. They want to stay like this, help new kids like Georgi Tsikseridze, who's a 19-year-old fullback. He's an incredible player. He's going to be in the next Rugby World Cup. U20 played this year also, and it's one of those guys that you love to see because it's thanks to the Black Lion that he'll be more prepared to go to the Lelos. So they take very seriously this side. It's not just a thing they select some guys at a Thursday, they train on a Friday, and then go to play the Saturday. No, they train every day of the week. They're full pro, and they are not coming here to play around.
I'm shitting myself a bit now, boys. I'll be honest. I'm sitting there going like, we're gonna get proper fucked over this weekend, don't we?
They were good. I watched that game against Gloucester. They look good, the Black Lion. But it was like watching the Dragons in some ways, where you could see what they're trying to do in attack. They looked really dangerous in attack, but they make too many errors. And then they conceded a lot of penalties, and the line-out didn't quite function. Gloucester had to work very hard for that win. It wasn't easy for them. This was a big banana skin, and they came away with a win. But I was quite impressed with Black Lion. And going on what Francisco says, if Scarlets take them lightly or they're not quite on it, they'll cause Scarlets a lot of problems because they're very physical as well. That's what impressed me as well, the physicality and how dangerous they looked in attack. And if it clicks on the night, they could definitely, I'm not saying they're going to beat Scarlets, but I certainly think it could be a very tight encounter. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's quite intriguing, this game.
James will say they're going to beat the Scarlets because that's just his starting point. Am I right there, James?
They were very physical in the scrum, and they're a physical team up front. But having spoken to one of the Gloucester players who did play that night, they were a very physical team.
Yeah,
like they were in your face. They were all the things that the Scarlets have struggled with. And I'm not being this just to be a dick to Scarlets. There is genuinely a problem with the Scarlets' physicality, right? They don't, their front five don't like the they don't like the physical contact. They don't. They're giving it meters too easy in the tackle. You look at the game this week, and that was a Castra, very weak Castra team. Yeah, they gave up was it the second or third most meters in Europe this weekend? It is genuine concern for the Scarlets. Yes, I like to be a dick about the Scarlets because I hate them, but
really, you don't give that impression, James.
No, I'm quite diplomatic about it. Yeah, exactly. I have friends who are Scarlets fans. But they genuinely have a problem with physicality, especially in and around the ruck area. So I think it could be a problem, and we'll time will tell.
See,
they do have a weak front five for Scarlets, though. In fairness, they do, and you've got to admit that, Lee, as well, haven't you?
Yeah, but I like the fact that normally I'll ask James about the Ospreys and he'll slag off the Scarlets. So now I said, tell us about Black Lions. What do you think about Black Lions? Well, the Scarlets front five.
Scarlets, yeah. Still talking about the Scarlets.
Very fucking good scrum. You sad old man, I answered your question.
Oh my God, Carwyn, what do you reckon for the weekend, mate? Let's go on how bad are the Scarlets going to struggle just to keep James happy?
Well, the thing that made me laugh there from Francisco was that he said that if the Scarlets don't remain disciplined and don't take Black Lion seriously from the first minute, well, Scarlets were down to 14 within a minute on the weekend. So there's discipline for you out the window. And then you add in the type 5 is a thing. Like they were dominated against Ospreys. Cardiff couldn't dominate in the same way and therefore didn't win the game. That's the MO to beat the Scarlets, is dominate them in the scrum and then get that platform, kick to the corner, then maybe they fall down to 14 men at some point and you score a try, or maybe 4 tries while they're down to 14 men and you go over the game. It's a bit frustrating because the Scarlets just don't have a flat platform at the moment, and the line-out was a disaster against Castres as well. And if you've got those two things struggling against a Georgian side, that I don't know if Francisco agrees, but I'd expect Black Lion will be targeting this game. This is a game that they'll think, to be honest, the Scarlet side that aren't doing well in the league, we've got a really good chance of pulling off an upset. If I were Black Lion, I'd be targeting this game and I'd fancy our chances. Scarlet's obviously, if the game gets loose, if the game gets open, Scarlet's going to run away with it. But it's Black Lion's job to try and keep it as tight as possible, keep it forwards orientated. If it rains, it's going to massively help. So, it's a banana skin for the Scarlets. When I would think they should come over, should being the operative word, I think, around this one. But I would have said the same about the Lions from South Africa a few weeks ago.
That's a good point, though, about the weather. Because if it does piss down, that's not going to help the Scarlets this course, because we know they're not very good in wet weather. That'll force them into a tighter set-piece game, and that'll be bad news for the Scarlets. So you want to keep your fingers and toes crossed. It's a dry evening.
Anti-rain dances in the league.
See, and I've said this for a long time, there are 2 types of weather internationally. It's either raining or it's about to rain. Those are the only 2 types of weather we have in Scarlets. So I think we're used to it now. But to be fair, Peel does make them train outside in the rain. They've got the indoor training facility, and if it's pissing down, they go outside and they practice high balls. So, we shouldn't be shit in the rain. We shouldn't be shit anyway, in all honesty.
But you are, yeah.
But the other bit I was going to pick up on Carwyn's comments there, us, an hour? When the fuck did you turn into a fucking Georgian? Between the lot of you, this is like, let's all kick the Scarlets tonight. This is make the most of it, boys, because one of these days we're going to seek revenge, I can tell you. It'll be a big one when we do, let me tell you. Right, so
I forgot what the rules were, whether to be partisan or not. I just chosen us now.
Fuck being partisan.
On the weekend, I was having to be unbiased and no opinions, so it's nice to change.
Right, let's get some predictions then for the Scarlets Black Lion. I'm gonna have to train myself to stop saying Black Lions with plural, because that's it. Everyone just says Black Lions. So, right, Francisco, let's have a score prediction. I might go out the room for this because I got a feeling the next couple of minutes are going to be quite difficult for me. So let's get a score prediction out of you, Francisco, for Black Lions, Carwyn's Black Lions team, and the Scarlets.
Well, I'm going to curse them, but I'm going to say Black Lion 20, Scarlets 14.
Gordon Bennett, yeah. And no one's arguing with you. No one's going, oh, no. Jamie?
Let's be honest. It would be really funny if the Black Lion beat Scarlets in Park of Scarlets from there. It wouldn't be funny for you, Scarlets fans, but for the rest of us, it would be very funny. However, I do think Scarlets will do just enough to get the job done, so I'm going to say Scarlets by 6.
Okay, fair enough. James, how much are Scarlets going to lose by when they play someone?
No, I actually think Scarlets will win. They'll win by 7. But having been in your situation where we did lose to the Southern Kings at home, I was reminded of that by our lovely friend Hugh Griffin in his graph last week, where it just showed Ospreys at rock bottom, and someone asked me, "Oh, when was that?" I said, "That's when we lost the fucking Kings at home." So yeah, no, I do feel your pain, but I do think Scarlets will just have enough, especially if that game stays open. The Scarlets by 7.
Okay, Carwyn.
Weather's meant to be sunny, so after all that, I do think Scarlets will win. The interesting one is if Johan Lloyd plays. Obviously, went off with a bit of a knock. I don't know if Lee's heard anything more on that, but if Charlie Titcombe comes in and he's going to be inexperienced, but I'm going to say Scarlets by a bit more. I think Scarlets by some 12 to 15 points. I think they could be quite comfortable in the end. Probably a second half blitz, one of those situations where Scarlets ends up running away with it. But tight in the first 40, I expect.
See, I like Carwyn. I like that kind of prediction. That's the sort of stuff we should be doing more of. You can come on more often.
Just a question.
By 12 to 15 points with Cardiff against the Scarlets. So let's
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Just a question. How many Welsh internationals play in Scarlets?
Too many.
How many?
About half of them actually decide to play. That's the issue. Gareth Davis. Actually, we got quite a few, but and a lot of them were rested last weekend, and I think that.
How many? Answer the question.
8 bottles in the back line.
Because it's something that you're all forgetting, that Richard Cockerill is going to sign with the Georgian Union, and all of the players want to excel in this Challenge Cup, so he can pick them for starting 2024. And I know the team is on fire, so I don't know how is the Scarlets' mood at the moment, but I can say that for the Georgians, the loss against Gloucester for them was nothing. So
I get worried when
how many Welsh players does Scarlets have? I just want to know that.
Answer the question, Lee, for God's sake.
I don't know, because half of them are out fucking injured at the minute. Ken Owens is injured. Plumtree is injured. Fuck, if you read the injury list from last weekend, Gareth Davis was injured. Fafita was injured. Dan Davis was injured again. Johnny Williams is probably due an injury because he's played 2 games. So
I think everyone's fit is something around 15, 16, generally.
I'm going to go Scarlets by 1 because that seems to work. Every time I go Scarlets by 1.
Confident prediction there, then, Lee?
Yeah, but every time I predicted Scarlets by 1, we actually win. It's when I predict Scarlets by 10 or 12 or 14 that we have issues. So,
Didn't you do Scarlets by 1 last week?
No, not last week. I did.
What did you say last week?
I can't remember. James was drinking coffee anyway. He wouldn't fucking know. He was off being
a 2 weeks ago. I listened to the pod last week.
Yeah, you were still recovering from your coffee last week, mate.
Did any of you say that Castro was going to lose against Scarlets?
I think I predicted
apart from Lee, obviously, I think.
Oh, this is just kick Lee tonight, isn't it? It's just... Go on, Carl.
What I will say is I don't think... it's going to maybe get carried away, but I don't think Scarlets played that badly last week when they were playing 15. When it was 15 versus 15, the end score is 16-10 to Scarlets. But the problem was, or maybe 13-10, but the problem was that they couldn't keep 15 men on the pitch. And I think you sort line that out, you saw a set piece out, one or the other, and Scarlets have got an opportunity to show what they can do in the back. But at the moment, they can't sort out one of the set pieces, and that's the main problem, I think.
Well, we'll talk about the games later and stuff, but the rumor I'm hearing is that our forwards coach is pretty much taking the brunt of the blame at the minute and may have a rather nasty Christmas present if he don't fuck his fucking ideas up. So I say that. I mean, the guy's 6'10" and 18 stone. I'm not going to say that to his face, you know.
La 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 la
Yes,
la
I know.
la.
It was him. He's the one.
That's my name is Martin.
No, he is the one getting a lot of the flack at the minute, and for obvious reasons. You know, the line-out isn't functioning, the scrum isn't functioning. It's not like we're making up for it in rucks and open play or anything. So, yeah, you know, that's part of the crap bit of being a coach is if it's not working, it really shows. So there we go. Anyway, let's go to the big boy division. Let's go to Cardiff playing Bath on Saturday night, 8 o'clock. So one of the latest kind of I'll follow the money fans, Francisco, has decided to follow Cardiff for this season until he comes to his senses at the end of the season when he looks at the table and goes, "Oh, right, okay, that's why Harley was desperate for me to follow Cardiff." So thoughts on Cardiff and Bath then, Francisco?
Well, I think Cardiff is going to Bath with a humility game. That I'm sure of it. This was a punt, a very bad one, but it was one. I don't know. Look, this Cardiff side had for me it's the Joker. Sometimes it comes to Gotham and can even drive Batman to his knees. Other nights he's caught by the stupid policemen around. So it's just a weird side. But it's better than the Scarlets and definitely better than the Dragons. And I think my only mistake was not looking to the Ospreys with good eyes, because maybe the Ospreys is a team that I should have gone with now.
No, definitely not. Trust me, we're no fucking better.
Look, I don't know. At the end of the season, I'm going to just do this to the table. If Cardiff is in one of the last, and for me, it finished at the top. So whatever you want, it's on the top for me. But I think Cardiff's going to lose. If I'm going to do the score prediction now, 23, and that's no 43. Going to get completely humiliated by Bath.
Blimey. Okay. Carwyn, follow that up then, mate. So you're going to get absolutely destroyed by 40 odd points. What's your thoughts on that?
I think this Cardiff side gets destroyed. That's the first thing I'd say. I'd be really surprised if that's the scoreline. I think, you know, that result against Toulouse looks terrible. You know, worst result in 17 years, all that sort of stuff in Europe. But there were lots of changes. Cardiff are focused on this week against Bath. They fancy their chances against Bath for some reason because Bath are flying. Let's be honest about it. Bath are playing incredible rugby. Ollie Lawrence is looking like a man possessed at 13. Joe Cock-and-Seeger's learned how to catch a rugby ball. And like they are playing really good rugby. And I just don't think that scoreline looks terrible last week, but it wasn't as bad as that. And I think this week the result, you back Bath. You'd always back Bath, but I'd have backed Stormers. I backed Stormers a couple of weeks ago, and that's what Cardiff do. They put in a brilliant performance one week, terrible performance next week, and then they back it up with a brilliant performance. And frustratingly, that's been the case for the last 6 years, probably, if we're honest about it. And that's just the Cardiff way, if there is a Cardiff way. I am still going to say Bath are favourites, though. Bath are comfortable favourites, and Bath should win, really, because if they get that forward dominance that I expect they'll get, then they've got the backs to put Cardiff away, and I don't think Cardiff have got enough at the moment, especially with injuries. You know, that back row is a bit of a problem at the moment with injuries and inexperienced players playing there. It's going to be difficult to get dominance in that jackal area, especially slow down Bath's ball. It's a huge problem last week. It's going to be a huge problem this week. So yeah, I'd say Bath should win, but I don't think humiliated by 6-10 probably.
Okay, interesting. James?
It's a tricky one. I think Ellis Jenkins chose the worst time to be suspended.
Hang on a second. Are you going to start talking about the fucking Scarlets game now, James? Are you going to?
No, I'm talking about the fact that this run of games is a really. We talked recently about Cardiff not having the leadership. Ellis Jenkins comes back. They make a big song and dance about it, and rightly so, because his leadership was excellent. And now he's gone. All of a sudden, there's that void again. And when you're going into a home game, which will most likely be a proper sellout against Bath in Europe, in the Big Cup, you want your leaders. You want your Ellis Jenkins on the pitch. And this is no reflection on Lucas De La Rua and Mackenzie Martin as well, because I think they're going to be both fantastic players, is they're just really inexperienced. And you're going up against, a gnarly Bath pack, led by Johan van Graan, who is notorious for, he loves his big, gnarly forwards. And then that back line for Bath is just box office. I could watch. I watched bits of the game against Ulster, and they just ooze class. And don't get me wrong, there will be ways for Cardiff to exploit that. I just don't think it'll be enough, and I think that gap in leadership is going to show a lot. So I think Bath by 15, and that's me being generous. I think.
I'm quite impressed that you didn't mention the Scarlets and how shit the Scarlets were. I thought you did well there, mate. I thought you did well.
Why would I bring up the Scarlets? I'd never do that.
More gin. Yeah Jamie, what do you think, mate?
Well, the good news for Cardiff is that this is a more winnable game than Toulouse away. So that's the good news. And the fact is they are going to be looking to have 2 home wins against Bath and Harlequins. It's going to be difficult, but they'll feel those are the games they'll target in getting some success at. The bad news for Cardiff is Bath are actually a very good team now. They're doing really well in the Premiership. They had a very good win over Ulster. They look a proper side. And Cardiff have got injuries. And James is spot on because he stole my thunder a little bit because I was going to talk about Ellis Jenkins because I remember the pod that we did and James mentioned, where's your leaders? But then Ellis Jenkins comes back. We've all seen that Scrum 5 clip doing the rounds on social media to death. He is a leader. He's a very good player. And I think Cardiff are lacking those at the moment. And they've got a young team. They're inexperienced. However, at the Arms Park, I always feel like Cardiff can pull off a surprise result. It would not surprise me if they did pull off a result against Bath. Not saying they will, but it wouldn't surprise me. Because I think Cardiff are much stronger at home than they are on the road. And they are very good attack-wise. But it's the pack, isn't it? Can they front up? The young kids in the back row, breakdown ball. It is going to be tough. I don't think it's going to be a hammering. I don't think it's going to be City score like 20, 30 plus to Bath. But I do think Bath will win by a score or 2. Well, let's say Bath by 9 points then. I'll go for Bath by 9.
Okay. So I'm the thing for me is this is Saturday night, 8:00. Yeah. And a whole load of Bath supporters are going to come over, spend an afternoon in Cardiff. They're going to go to Cardiff Winter Wonderland. The ground is going to be absolutely bouncing. It's going to be jumping. There's going to be drums. There's going to be trumpets. There's going to be fake snow. Yeah, there's going to be all sorts of. So the atmosphere is going to be absolutely superb. They're going to sell out hospitality left, right, and centre. The guys are going to be renting out their flats and standing in their garden in their pants and all of that kind of stuff just to celebrate. And I think that works in Cardiff's favour. I think once you get an atmosphere like that in there, Cardiff do respond. So, yeah, I think Cardiff are just one of those sides that you never actually know who's going to turn up. And you could put the same 15 out one week and the same 15 out the week after and get 2 completely different results. So, I think with the atmosphere, with the big focus on it, it's almost a local derby. Bath isn't that far away. So I think it's going to all go in Cardiff's favour. The bit that I was going to say about Bath, that is something that I mean, we can learn from it in Welsh rugby, or we can kind of wait and see if it self-implodes. But it wasn't that long ago that Bath were, in danger of being relegated. If there'd have been relegation during COVID, Bath would have gone down because they were fucking awful. They invested money. They got a lot of new coaches in. They ditched a lot of the old school players and let them go back to Cardiff. They brought in a whole load of younger players, a lot of them from the Cardiff Academy. So, they've had a real investment period, and now the ground is full every week. They're top of the table-ish. They're playing well. They're playing good rugby. And it's a rugby heartland. It is a rugby heartland, but Bath has got, it's very similar to Llanelli. It's not a city. Bath isn't a city. Is Bath classed as a city now? It's if it is.
A city.
It's very small.
Bath is a city.
It is it? It's very small.
Yeah,
it's a very small city. So
are you roasting Bath at the moment?
No, I'm
you're
saying
this. You're in no position to roast anyone's town.
But that's what I'm saying. Bath is when you look at the stuff around Bath, it's not got any right to be at the top of European rugby, but it has been for years and years and years because it's a heartland, in the same way that Swansea is, that Llanelli is, that Cardiff is, that Newport is. And what they've shown is if you bring good players in and you bring good coaches in, people come back and they watch. And as much as I hate the fact that people don't go and watch shit teams, and we should all go and watch our sides, week in, week out. But, Bath have shown that if you invest the money in you bring the good players in, the crowds come back, and that's how the ball rolls. So, if the WRU are listening, and I know some of those fuckers do, and the BBC, I know they listen as well. So,
well done. You've severed all your fucking ties now, haven't you?
Let's fucking do the lot of a man.
You've severed all ties now. Cheers. We're going to be fucking Bean John's host for the next 5 years because we're not getting any fucking deals.
No, I know that people in the WRU fucking deals. People in the WRU are definitely listening to what supporters are saying and all that kind of stuff now. Bath is the example that you can go from bottom of the table to competing in Europe in a couple of seasons with a little bit of investment and a little bit of direction, decent coaches and a decent squad. So I think the atmosphere and all of that kind of stuff will really work in Cardiff's favour. So I can see it being another one of those last minute games. And Carwyn's going to be sitting there going like, oh no, just hold out, boys. Just hold out. Just don't. Oh no. Oh, don't. Oh, kick it. No, don't kick it there. Oh no. It's going to be a last minute squeaky bum time. But I think Cardiff will just squeeze past by 2 or 3 points, if that, on Saturday. So that's my prediction for that one.
On that, I think it's a huge game for Bath because you say about them being whipping boy, poor team for years. They were a poor team in Europe for years. I remember them losing to the Scarlets. So they have a poor team for years.
That was a subtle dig.
I thought I got it under the radar, but in all seriousness, they have been a poor team for years, and now they're trying to show that they're a serious outfit. They've got Finn Russell at 10. They've brought him in big bucks and all this sort of stuff. But if someone can get at him, James joked earlier said earlier that it's a terrible time for Ellis Jenkins to get suspended. If ever there was a game to get suspended, get into Finn Russell a bit on this week and get suspended might not be the worst option. You've got to really not. I don't mean really hurt him or anything like that, but you've got to target him. You've got to put pressure on him because he does fold under pressure sometimes. And this Bath side historically does do that. So whether they've managed to change that tune is another question. And if ever, Cardiff Arms Park has got a history of making sides fold under pressure in recent years. So, or quality sides, Leinster, Stormers, Sale. I was trying to think of any others, but yeah, so there are not many, but there are good sides
Sorry,
that are folded.
oh no.
There are some good sides that folded. I was gonna say dragons, but anyway.
Quality sides. I thought you said quality sides.
You forgot to mention Scarlet's in there, boys.
Yeah.
Who?
Let's move on, shall we, and discuss Dragon's visit to Palwa. How do they call themselves now? Do they refer to? They still refer to themselves as Po. This is called Palwa, but Po is what we call.
I call them Po, like the Teletubbies Po. That's how I've always called them. That's the way I pronounce it. Po.
Section Paloise.
Section Palwa. Yeah.
No,
Section
not section. It's not English. It's French.
What's wrong with that?
They've France conquered you once. Don't ask them to conquer the second time.
Go on then, teach me again. So how do I pronounce it?
Section Paloise.
Section Palwa.
Paloise.
Palwa. Section
Oh,
Palwa.
très bien, monsieur.
Okay, Dragons and Po. So how are we? Jamie, talk to us about Dragons versus Section Paloise.
Oh,
Well, I mean, the first thing to say is it's not live on TV. So if Dragons fans want to watch this game, or anyone else for that matter, they're going to have to pay €7. And EPCR could go fuck themselves, quite frankly, because I won't be doing that. Because it's a piss take. It's a piss take on supporters. I was listening to the Pirate Rugby pod, and Endo, who does the TV guide, he was explaining, the broadcast schedule, and it is very messy. There's so many broadcasters, there's so many streaming services. You got to pay for certain games. Some of the games you pay for individually don't even have commentary on some of those games.
Yeah,
and when you consider if you're subscribing to, I subscribe to Sky, I subscribe to TNT, I subscribe to Fireplay, Amazon, and it's just a piss take, to ask people to pay another £7 just to watch this game, and I'm not going to do it, so I'll have to watch the highlights. But we go to Po in good spirits, which we'll talk about later, over that very good but very unexpected bonus point win over Oyonnax. The good news for the Dragons is they have won at Po recently. So last season they went to Po and they won. So we do know how to win out there. The bad news could be, I think Po are going to go stronger than they did against the Sharks. So they played the Sharks and they got absolutely battered. Sharks put 50+ points on them, but they did put out a reserve second string team. So I'm guessing at home this weekend, I think they're probably going to go stronger. And I don't know if Dragons are going to pick the same team or if they're going to rotate, because I do think they'll have the derbies in mind, because they got these big Christmas derbies now coming up with Cardiff and the Scarlet. So does Dave Flanagan rotate a little bit, or does he stick with the same team? He has talked about going all out attack for this game. He said the pressure's off now. We've got a bonus point when we can go all out on attack. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, Now we've got a bonus point win. Hopefully that'll give us a bit of momentum, a bit of confidence, and I can see us going out there and doing a job on it, depending how Po, if they're interested, and depending on what team they put out. I can see us nicking this one by about 2 points. I think we go there now with our tails up, and that's important because Dragons are a confident side. When they go on these run of defeats, it can affect their confidence. When they go on that spiral of doom, it's very difficult to get out of. But that was a big win and a big performance on Saturday. I think it's given everyone now a bit of a lift. So, I'm going to back us by 2 points. I think it'll be tight, but I think we can get it done.
I thought the Spiral of Doom was the new ride at Alton Towers, but they must have moved it.
It probably is. Maybe it is. I
moved
don't know.
it to Rodney Parade for the weekend. So, what did you take out of the game last weekend, Jim? What are the guys going to take out from that win last weekend? Like I said, it was a bit unexpected, but then we never really knew what side was going to turn up against them. So, what do they take out of that game from last weekend?
Well, they take 5 points out of it, which is very, very handy, especially in a group where, you got, let's not forget, you got 6 teams in a pool, 4 teams are going to qualify. So Dragons now in a very good position. So against Po, this isn't really a must-win game. Even if they lose, they're still going to be in a relatively good position. But it's a game where they need to get at least a losing bonus point out of. But, in terms of what they got out of it, look, it's a win. And winning breeds confidence, doesn't it? And yes, it was unexpected, and it was a very good win in very difficult conditions. You know, I was at the game, and it was very windy. It was blowing a gale. I mean, you had balls going out of touch, you had balls being kicked backwards, line outs not being straight. And I think it was the 73rd minute. I'm sat there watching this, it's 7 apiece. And I'm thinking, this is just going to go two ways. It'll either be a 7-all draw, or Oyonnax are going to sneak it. And then we score 3 tries in the last 7 minutes. And the complexity just completely changes. The mood just lifts. The pressure is lifted and the crowd erupts. It was a really, really good night. And, you know, it just breeds confidence, doesn't it? If you win, like winning is a habit, and that's what Dragons need to do, but also losing is a habit, which is what Dragons unfortunately do too often. And when they go on these long losing runs, that's when confidence dips. But you could just feel the pressure being lifted in that stadium. It was a must-win game. You know, Dave Flanagan talked about having a reset in Europe, you know, starting afresh, because the URC has been difficult for the Dragons. But I just think they'll get a lot of confidence for that. And like I said, Dave Flanagan has almost said now, let's go out attack. Let's go out to Poland, just go all out attack, because the pressure is lifted, you know. So I'm expecting the Dragons to go out there and give it a really good go. But if they lose, it's not the end of the world. But ideally, if we win, it would put us in a very good position. But I would like us to come home with at least a losing bonus point out of it. But it's not easy going to France, you know. It's not easy, no matter who you play, no matter what team they put out. It's very, very difficult to go to France. So it's a test, it's a big test. But if they win that, that's going to give them so much momentum and confidence going into the Christmas derby. So yeah, fingers crossed they can go out there and do a job on Poe.
Okay. So Francois, you're Francois.
Francois. He's gone French now.
In my head, I'm practicing saying Francisco. Your thoughts on the Dragons' opposition?
Francois.
I was desperately trying to get the name right of I was going Section Paloise, and then I fucked up Francisco.
Oh, it's incredible. No,
Francois.
I'm Francois now.
I'm having a night of it now.
Jenny, might I say, I interviewed Eddie Jones 3 times, and tonight it felt like it was the 4th. You sounded like just Eddie Jones talking in a press conference. Yes.
No.
Incredible.
Are you trying to say I'm a bullshitter, Francisco? What are you trying to say, mate? I don't like where you're going with this. Are you calling me a bullshitter?
It was no. It was incredible. It was so well built. It was beautiful and all out of the heart. I'm truly, you sounded like a coach, like a super head coach.
Just be professional. That's how you always have on this podcast. So
only the last part, it was not very head coachy, because he said, well, at least a losing bonus point. No coach can say we want at least one losing bonus point. You are not.
No, they can't, can they? No.
No, you can't. Then you sound like the head coach of Scarlets. You can't be the head coach.
I feel sorry for Lee now. We're really ripping into him. I feel sorry for him now. Well, I almost
get his name wrong once, and then he just turns on me like this. Gordon, let it.
Jamie's tonight 14 times he's going to the Rock and Roll podcast. And,
I don't know what you're talking about, Mike. I don't know what you're talking about.
But might I say, I was quite shocked with the score between the Dragons and the Oyonnax. I know Oyonnax only came to the first division this season, in the top 14, but I thought that it would be a very much close game of what it was. And this week against Pau, I don't know, because Pau is a very strange team. The last 3 seasons, they've done good seasons, and at the same time, last year was like complete. They almost went down. It was bad. And I remember, because I talked a lot with Mike Tadger, who played for Perpignan, and we were doing the math. Well, you were going to overtake Pau and send Pau to the Predator, which would be like a shockwave in France, because there was a lot of money put in that team and a lot of expectations in Pau. But for this week, I don't know if they're going with the full side. It's going to be hard for the Dragons, even if the Dragons are a team that's and Jamie said, I think it's important thing you said, that there's no pressure, or the pressure is off, of they have to win, and sometimes those are the most lethal or more dangerous sides, because you go to the game and Pau needs now to bank something out of a home game, or they are, if they lose, they are almost out of the competition.
Well, it won't be good for them because they're on 0 points now. So if they lose and they come away with no points, then it's going to be very, very difficult for them to qualify.
So they have a lot of pressure. Dragons have little. They are from the top 14. So I know everyone this past week, said the top 14 sides were the most pressure, because every time the French talk, and I support them, they think they're the best league on Europe. So when they go to the pitch, everyone is looking to them to do something. But the scoreline against the Sharks was bad. Was like horrible. I saw the first 5 minutes, and I went to see the last 5, and it was like, what happened? So someone died, and someone gave up or something, because it was a weird game. And the Sharks is doing a very bad season in URC, so it was more strange than that. So I don't know. I would like the Dragons to win. Just to say then, Harley, why did I pick Cardiff when the Dragons are winning in Europe? But I'm going to say it's going to be Pau by 7 points.
Because they're fourth in the top 14. That's the thing. Pau were fourth in the top 14, and they've won all their homes game this season. So if they bring a strong side, it's going to be very difficult.
But it depends what they want, because from what I've talking and reading, the focus for Pau this season is the top 14. It's not the Challenge Cup. Of course, everyone wants to win all competitions, but Pau wants to go to the semi-finals of the top 14. And if there's a big injury to one of the top players, or something that complicates for the next 5 games for the top 14, which always January in top 14 is decisive, is where you see if you're going to the playoffs or you're not. And I think they're more focused. They can be more focused with their top 14 campaign than the Challenge Cup, and that's what the Dragons must fancy if they don't put the best team on the pitch this weekend.
Okay, Carwyn, your thoughts?
I think people have got a little bit carried away with Dragons' win last week and Pau's result.
No, we haven't. We're the best team in the competition, mate. No one's getting carried away.
All I'm going to say, these are Pau's results this season. They Lyon at home, Toulouse, Bordeaux. They beat Stade Francais 30 points to 6. Also, they lost 45-5 to Sharks, but don't forget the Dragons put 60 plus on them. So, I just think I don't see. I get the point about prioritizing top 14, and I think Pau probably will do that. But if the result against Sharks wouldn't have been so bad, I think perhaps Pau would have attempted to play a more second team, maybe even a third team this weekend. But now I think they've got to prove a point that they are competitive. I think they, and especially at home, French sides don't like losing at home. That's historic. They will put a stronger side out, and this is a team that's got good players. They've got Joe Simmons at 10, if he starts, obviously, but he's a quality operator. They've got other quality players from Sam Whitelock, whether or not he plays as well. That's very few as good as him. So I think Dragons, it was a good result last week against a French side playing away from home, a French side that's struggling in the top 14. This is a French side that are doing really well in the top 14, that want to continue performing well at home. And I think that's a massive difference. I just expect that class to be too much for the Dragons. And I don't want that derogatory in any way. This is, as Francisco said, this is probably the best league at the moment, top 14. And this is a side that are 4th in that league. So there's a massive gap there, and I do expect Pau to win relatively comfortably. Although, as everyone's mentioned, it does depend on lineup. I think if both second side play, you're probably talking winning by Pau by maybe 6 points. But if they play their first team, it could really be a bit of a beating. I think 15 points plus, and that's my opinion. But I don't see them playing a second as weak a side as they did last week. Sorry to be so negative. I've been criticized.
Very negative, that was Carwyn.
Yeah.
Very negative.
Or reality, as the rest of us like to call it. James, James, your thoughts?
I'm more inclined to agree with Jamie. I think that there's when you have a confidence boost like that game, it can just galvanize a team. I was really impressed with the way Dragons went about that last 10 minutes, especially, but probably you say the last 20 on Saturday, where they just kept their nose at the grindstone. A Dragons team can be, and this is probably a negative thing I'll say about the Dragons, is they can give up quite easily. You could think, right, we're not getting anything out of this game. We're just going to sit back defensively and just damage limitation. But they didn't. They went out and they scored the 4 tries in the weekend, and they were a joy to watch. I think that genuinely can do something to a team. But it's such an unpredictable game because I just looked at their squad from Saturday and they had a literal child at 10, and just full of academy players, and you just think, are they going to take a beating 2 weeks in a row and go for the league? I'm really torn. I'm going to go Dragons by like 2, just to be confident and I do want them to do well because there's a lot of players in that squad who I like and deserve like a European Cup run. Do you know what I mean? How good would it be to say that Dragons went out to France and won? That is such an uplifting thing for Welsh rugby at the minute because we're just dominated by bad news.
Well, they did last season. They beat Po in Po last season, but this is
All right,
obviously
I'll
a better Po team. we've already done it, mate. We've beaten Po on the road. Yeah. This is a different Po side, so it's going to be tougher. But like I said, I'd be happy with a bonus point, I would. But that might sound defeatist, but if we come back with bonus point, that still puts us in a very good position.
I don't think it is. I think you could target 2 bonus points. I genuinely think so. I think you can get the try bonus point and a losing bonus point if it's possible.
That would be handy.
That would if you come back with 2 points, essentially you only have to win 1 more game normally, and you are like through probably in second place. So and that's going to be so much better in the long run for you.
Yeah.
So what was your prediction again, James?
Dragons by 2.
Yeah. Okay. So when I start making predictions about Dragons, Jamie gets nervous because he doesn't like the confidence and all of that. So I'm going to go with a Dragons loss by 2, but I'd be quite confident that actually, I think when was the last time the Dragons won 2 games on the bounce, Jim? Can you remember that?
Fuck me. I can't actually remember it. Oh, it must have been last season. Because, hang on, did we beat Munster? And then I'm sure we beat Zebra then, didn't we?
Okay.
So it might have been last season, but I'm not 100% sure about that.
I think that having the potential of 2 games on the bounce as a win, that kind of builds momentum. It happened with the Scarlets last year. It can happen for others. Once you get onto that roll and things start clicking and the confidence starts building, it's surprising what can happen. So I'm going to go a Dragons loss by 2 just to keep Jamie happy. But actually, I think it might go the other way quite comfortably. So
just say Po by 10. Because last week you said, you're not by 10 and we won. So say Po by 10.
There we go.
That'll make me happy then.
Section Palois by 10.
There
we go. Palois.
I wasn't far off. But you're not fucking picking me up on Palois. You call them fucking Po all night. Bastards. Right. James, let's discuss Montpellier, my friend. Hang on now. Francisco, am I pronouncing Montpellier correctly?
Ouais. C'est Montpellier, mais c'est très bon, très bon.
I'm going to take that as a yes, James.
Obviously, deja vu for the Ospreys. We went out there last year, the Champions Cup, and won. admittedly probably against a weakened Montpellier side. But then obviously they came to us in the January, full strength, and we won again. So they're going to be hurt, and they're not going to forget last year's, back-to-back defeats. But they are going through it this season. I think they still rock bottom of the top 14. They've employed a literal criminal as their head coach. It can't get much worse. It's honestly like
allegedly, apparently, isn't he?
Sorry, allegedly a criminal. Yeah.
They can hire Israel Folau, so it can get worse. Yeah.
But they've got a quality side. The likes of Sam Simmons in there, Harry Williams, Anthony Boutier at fullback, Louis Carbonell, Ben Lamb. These George Bridge. One of my favourite All Blacks players from that era. I thought was really underrated. We go out there off the back of a really good win. A confidence boosting win. Do I think it's enough to get a win? I'm apprehensive because I've been stung before. But knowing that we've gone out and done it and got the monkey off our back last year, it does make it a bit better. So I'm going to go Ospreys by 3. I'm not confident of a win, but I do think it's genuine. We can go and get 4 points. Absolutely. Whether we can get 5 is another thing.
The bit I'm most impressed with on that, James, was you spent I timed this now, right? I've genuinely timed this. That was
so fucking sad.
That was 2 minutes. You were talking 2 minutes solid there, and you didn't slag off the Scarlets once, mate. Give yourself a pat on the back there. I think that's the first so far this season. I think you've done very well there. Carwyn, your thoughts on Ospreys travel to, it is away, isn't it? Yeah, travel to France this weekend.
Yeah.
It's a tough one to call, this one. I think this is closer than the last game we talked about, because Montpellier are more likely to focus purely on staying in the top 14. Their focus has to be on that. They're not going to be interested in the Challenge Cup. It offers nothing for them, to be honest, unless they win the thing, which the way they're playing at the moment, they're not going to win it. They do have quality players. To add to it, Willems, Garbisi, there's Reiner. There's so many quality players, but at the moment they're just not operating at the standard you'd expect. It's difficult with the Challenge Cup with the French sides to decide what the result's going to be, because you don't know the teams, and until you know the teams, it's difficult to predict. But Ospreys last year, the reason they beat Montpellier, Leicester, was they managed to fight it out up front. This pack is huge. It's huge for Montpellier. I mean, Kamara in the back row. I could go on and on about how many big players they've got, but Ospreys on last week, they showed that they can compete with some of the best sides in Europe in the driving maul. If they can find a way of attacking outside of the driving maul, that'd be great. And if they can develop that attacking play and showcase and pull this big pack around, that's a way of attacking Montpellier. That's probably the best way of targeting them, I think. Because I think if they go toe-to-toe, it could be a bit of a long day. I'm going to go Montpellier by 4, but just because I think French side are so strong at home. But I do think this is a bit of a closer one and could go either way, to be honest.
Cool. Okay. Francisco, your thoughts?
I think, this is weird because Montpellier went with Laporte. I don't know why. When he signed with them, I went to YouTube and went for the Eminem song that guess who's back again. Because he's Slim Shady. He's bald. He's shady stuff. And Montpellier, you see that the team has zero confidence. There's no positive environment. There's no flow in the team. Yeah, they have a lot of superstars, but sometimes that doesn't work. And it seems that the days of Jake White's cavalry and winning something, it's gone. And now it's It's dreadful. I've seen the top 14 this season. It's bad. They don't have. I don't know if even a head coach can fix it, because it seems there's nothing that connects the backs to the pack. The pack in the set piece is just all over the place. They can win one scrum penalty and then commit 5 offenses right after it. So I think the Ospreys is the team favorite to win this match. It's everything on their side to lose this one, because Montpellier, I don't know what team they're going to put out against Ospreys, but even if they go with the A-class team, the Ospreys have enough units and enough team chemistry to beat Montpellier. They're not in a good moment. I've seen this week there's talks of some players that want to leave because they came for a project. Now Laporte is in with, and even Saint-André left. So something is not good there. Altrad, I think he's a bit nervous with what he's building in there, or what if he isn't building something. So I think it's Osprey by 5.
Space by 5. Cool. Okay. Jamie?
Yeah, it is hard to call, isn't it? It's the Challenge Cup in the pool stages, because you just don't know what teams are going to be put out. Because if it's Champions Cup, most likely is going to be full strength. I know that's not always the case, but you'd expect full strength teams. We don't know if Ospreys are going to go full strength with the derbies coming up. We don't know if Montpellier is going to go full strength. Yes, they are struggling in the top 14. They did win against Newcastle in round 1, so they're still very much, in contention to qualify. It is going to be difficult, but I do fancy Ospreys because they've got the pack to take on Montpellier, and they know how to win there. So they'll draw on our previous experience of having won out there already. So I'm going to go Ospreys by 4.
Cool. Okay. So, yeah, I think being bottom of the division is kind of the key point for Montpellier. You have to focus on the bread and butter, and yeah, even putting out a weakened side is going to be a strong side for against the Ospreys. But with all the stuff that's going on in Montpellier, I think Ospreys should come away with a comfortable win. In all honesty, anything less than 15, 20 odd points, and I think Ospreys can say that they've had a shit day. In all honesty, I think James is literally biting his fingers now to stop himself from shouting at me. No, I do. I think that Ospreys should, make the most of it, make hay while the sun shines, put them to the sword early, and just take any sense of optimism out of them, and just batter them up front to start with, and then get to half time, and then let the fancy boys have the ball every now and again. So yeah, for me, Ospreys by 15, because I think Montpellier. Yeah,
15.
I just think I think Montpellier. We underestimate how stuff like that can affect the club. So yeah, by 15.
More importantly, Ospreys are not the Scarlets.
Oh, fucking hell.
Francois is on fire tonight, isn't he, eh? Oh, Francois, but yeah.
Yeah, gonna change your name. Right, okay. Let's very, very quickly, gents, run through last weekend's reports. So just quick rundown of what we thought of our game. So I'll go first because our game was the shittest. Line out was shit, defense was shit, attack was shit. Fuck me, something's got to change. And by the sounds of it, it is. We rested a whole load of players and said they were injured, and it showed. I am all in favour of bringing new players through, but this is something we should have been doing for the last 4 or 5 seasons. And it's really biting us on the arse now that we haven't had that foresight to bring through the younger players and give them experience when we probably should have. So yeah, I got no issues with anything else other than something's got to happen soon for the Scarlets, because we spoke on the Scarlets pod a couple of weeks ago that Dwayne Peel probably had till Christmas. He probably had to the Dragons game to show that he deserves to be the head coach. And none of us want him to go, genuinely. I don't think it's the right decision for him to go. But I can see other members of the coaching team not having their contracts renewed after the first year. So
Van der Berg, you mean?
Yeah. Our forwards are going backwards at a rate of knots every game.
But when they hired him, when they brought Van der Berg in, that was a big of a coup, wasn't it? Because South African rugby to it said, "Oh, it's an excellent appointment. He'll do really good for the Scarlets. So he'll add steel to their pack. He's done good work at the Lions." And based on what we've seen so far, I know Scar's got injuries. It hasn't really worked, that appointment, has it?
No. And sometimes it just doesn't. Sometimes a coach just doesn't click with players, or there's personalities involved, or we've done something the same way for the last 20 years and all that kind of stuff, or whatever it is, it's not working. So it needs to start working soon. So yeah, there we go. Right, so Carwyn, you let's get the misery stuff out, and then we'll finish on a positive. So tell us about the Cardiff game on the weekend, mate.
Yeah, I just a quick word of Scarlett. I thought Ben Williams was really good last week. I just wanted to say that because he was.
Yeah.
But yeah, Cardiff. In short, nothing that I'm not going to tell you anything you don't already know. In that Toulouse are very, very good. They pass the ball really, really well. They offload really well. But the additional things that I think were quite pronounced and maybe were a bit more worrying is I thought Toulouse's scramble defence was massively better than Cardiff's scramble defence. If you look at that first 25 minutes, there wasn't much in it, really, apart from scramble defence. The tackle Tomo Ramos puts on Shane Lewis-Hughes right on his try line when Shane Lewis-Hughes cuts an angle 5 metres out and Tomo Ramos knocks him back 10 yards. That's absolutely brilliant defence, and that's scramble defence. And then little moments of knock-ons, whether it be a Beetham winning the backfield where it's under pressure, without any pressure, whether it be Mason Grady knocking the ball on a couple of times when he'd done a good bust and then just letting go of the ball. There was nothing in that game in between the 22s that would worry a Cardiff fan. Either 22, I think, was the worrying bit, which was a lack of clinic. They weren't clinical enough in the opposition 22, and the lack of defensive security in their own 22. And the exit as well. Score a try, and then the next exit, I think the Mackenzie Martin try, who was brilliant, by the way, Mackenzie Martin, for his first big game in Europe. Yep. He scores a try, then your next exit goes to your 10 with about 6 forwards inside him, 2 backs outside. You lob it up to Tomo Ramos, who's one of the best counter-attackers in world rugby, who stands up Ben Thomas, fair enough, and then sets up Blair Kinghorn. It was too easy. And that was one of the frustrating ones. But it was one of those games where 25 minutes in, that score could have been 24-21. It really could have been close because Cardiff had the chances, just didn't take them. So it's not a what could have been. I don't think Cardiff fans would have ever expected the win out and to lose. But the scoreline was a lot worse than it should have been, I think. That's a fair reflection.
Yeah, they had their chances, Cardiff. I mean, even Daniel was over the line, wasn't he? He was held up, and they did have opportunities in Toulouse's 22. I mean, I thought Tinas De Bee is an interesting player, isn't he? Because he's a very hot and cold player. So there's some games I watch him, I think he's really, really good. And then there's other games I watch him, I think, he makes bad errors, and I think, oh, God, But he had a good 60 minutes, and I thought his kicking was on point for most of that game. He made a really good line break. A player that's really impressed me at the moment is Mackenzie Martin. I thought he was terrific. He didn't look overawed by the occasion at all, did he? Carried really well, took his try well. Mason Grady was a handful, as he always is. There's a lot of positives you can take, actually, from this game. And it was a hammering. Yes, it was 7 tries to win. Yes, it's Cardiff's heaviest European defeat in 17 years. But you can take positives from it going into the second because they had their chances. They wasn't clinical. And the youngsters, I thought, although they had a difficult afternoon, they really stood up. So I don't think it's all doom and gloom. But like I said, this was result as expected, wasn't it? Nobody seriously thought that Cardiff were going to come away with anything. It could have been worse, mate. It could have been worse than 52-7 because I actually thought, I don't know if you agree, I did think Toulouse took their foot off the gas in the second half a little bit. It did get a little bit scrappy, and I thought, well, maybe it was job done. And I thought Halahola was lucky as well, because he could have had a second yellow for that knock on. Now, how that didn't go to review, I don't know, because he did get a yellow card in the first half for slowing the ball down. If that had gone to review, that deliberate knock on, he would have seen a red. I'm pretty sure of that. So Cardiff Road did luck. It could have been worse, and maybe it should have been worse. But actually, there are enough positives, particularly from the individual performances, the youngsters, to take into the Bath game, isn't it?
Yeah, DuPont was obviously on a different planet. Ramos was on a different planet. But apart from that, I thought players like Mackenzie Martin, Teddy Williams, Mason Grady didn't look like they were outclassed by the rest of the two side. Take DuPont out of it, on a different planet to everyone else. But those three players, especially, and which is great to hear for Teddy and Mackenzie. Mackenzie being the second best number 18 behind Faletau now. But the Jamie hasn't even reacted.
That's the kind of nonsense I'd expect from Harley, to be honest. You just continue it now.
I thought it was on the Cardiff Central pod then. Jesus.
I know.
I'm just seeing who gets triggered first. Would it be James with the Morgan Morris shout?
It's not Morgan Morris died or something.
In all seriousness, though, he is one hell of a prospect, and he's good. Yes. So good. But yeah, I on Tinas Beer, I've been pretty critical of him in the first few weeks about being hot and cold in games, to be honest. He goes cold for about 10 minutes and just, in the Benetton game it seemed to lose his way a bit for 10 minutes. But I thought that was one of his better performances, with that loose kick aside that set up the Kinghorn chance. I thought he was pretty good. I think it's frustrating because there was a bonus point there. I think it was a 4-try bonus point, but it was really open for the first 40, and there was a chance there for Cardiff to take. But like you said, Halahola has to be a red card. It's a definite slap down. But this week is a much better opportunity for Cardiff. That's definitely the case.
Yes, it's a more winnable game, certainly. Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about winning sides then. So Jamie, you get to go first on this one. Talk us quickly about the Dragons last weekend.
Well, first thing to say is 8 o'clock kickoffs can get in the bin. I really don't like them at all. It's too late. It's too cold. Traipsing through Newport City Centre, seeing people throw it up, getting pissed up on their Christmas parties on the way to the stadium was not a pleasant experience, I have to say. But I'm not a fan of 8 p.m. kickoffs. And it was bloody cold and windy, extremely windy. Look, as I said earlier, it was a very gritty win in very difficult conditions. And look, I didn't expect that result. So the last 10 minutes was the only period in the game I actually enjoyed. It was difficult to watch. It wasn't a perfect performance by Dragons. There was still a lot of errors. And, the scrum, it was very hit and miss. But they won with a bonus point, and that's the main thing. And I think what pleased me the most about this game was the fact that we had youngsters in that squad, So we had Ryan Woodman, who I thought was excellent. And I've said this on Twitter already. We're hearing a lot about youngsters in other Welsh regions, but especially at Cardiff. I want to hear more about the youngsters at the Dragons, because I don't think Ryan Woodman is getting the credit that he deserves, because I think he's been excellent. And he is definitely going to be a future Welsh international. We know he's Wales under-20s captain already. I thought he looked really assured, and he was excellent, I thought. You had Brodie Coughlin, the young hooker, coming off the bench, 18-year-old. Harry Ackerman made his debut off the bench. It is unfortunate that Seal got injured, but he came on. And we got guys like George Young and Will Reed. So the future is bright at Dragons. We've got some very good young talent coming through. And that did impress me and did make me quite happy. But it was difficult to know how Oyonnax were going to turn up, because I thought, are they going to be interested in this game? And to be fair, they turned up, Oyonnax. They did want to win. This wasn't a disinterested performance at all. They were very good in the first half. They came down here to win. But they were Dragons were playing into the wind in our first half. Oyonnax had the win behind them. And to come away just 7-0 down in the first half, I thought Dragons managed that really, really well. But we had to make the second half count. And look, I've spoken about the conditions already. I think Will Reed, as much as I love him, and he is a very talented young player, he really did struggle in those conditions. So in the build-up to Oyonnax's trap. Sorry, what was that? Did someone say so? Yes.
No, it was a
So-
echo.
I just heard something in the back. Anyway, what the hell is that? In the build-up to Oina's try, Will Reed, it was a goal line dropout. He kicked it out dead, which put us under a lot of pressure. Then it led to Oina's try. And then they scored, and then straight from the kickoff, he kicked it dead. And you're starting to think, okay, this is getting a little bit unacceptable now. And I understand the conditions were difficult, but every time Will Reed kicked the ball, it was making me nervous because you just didn't know where the ball was going to go. He was very good with ball in hand, but kicking, he was just making me nervous. And I think we really missed someone like Kai Evans there, someone a bit more experienced. We're badly missing an experienced 10, but, credit to him, he did look good with ball in hand, but the conditions were so difficult. And like I said, it's 74 minutes gone. We're 7 apiece, and you're thinking, yeah, this is going to go 2 ways. It'll just be a draw, or you're now going to steal it. And to score 3 tries in those last 7 minutes was really, really good. And we scored some really, really good tries. And we come away with a bonus point, which none of us were expecting. So, a hard-fought win in difficult conditions. Just hoping now we can kick on. The Dragons are traditionally not very good at backing up good wins. So it will be a struggle in Po, as we've already talked about. But you can't go wrong with that. A bonus point win. That is the perfect start for the Dragons. None of us were expecting it, and we've got the job done. So, very, very pleased. Oh, by the way, Aaron Wainwright, you want to talk about the best number 8 in Wales? He's the best number 8 in Wales right now because he was absolutely fantastic. No, he was. He was at Dragons were not fun without him. He is outstanding. Because if you look at his stats, like the Dragons Pro, the stats, they're not particularly outstanding stats throughout to this world. But fuck me, he put in a brilliant shift. He was incredibly hard.
Like in the best way possible. He was a prick.
He was. And that's what kept us in the game.
Joyous to watch.
He was brilliant. And I'd go as far as to say Rio Dyer now is probably the informed winger in Wales right now because he's just getting better and better. He's had a lot of confidence. He's really kicking on since the World Cup. And I'm very happy with his development. And it was a good win. I'm very happy. It was a really good win. Like I said, some morale booster win, a confidence booster win. And at least we go to Po now without tails up, At least we go there not dreading. We can go there, have a crack as a free hit. So, 24/7. Can't ask for more than that. So, pretty pleased.
Cool. Okay.
Can I just ask one question? Do you feel I gave you the bonus point? Because that defence from that final scrum is some of the worst defence I've ever seen.
Well, if they want to give us bonus points, that's absolutely fine. That's their problem. Ours. By the way, I tell you what I will say. People say, they put out the reserve team, I will remind people the Dragons have got 15 players missing. Yeah. So if you want to play that game, it works both ways. Like we've got a lot of injuries at the moment. We've got 15 guys missing. So that wasn't 2 full strength teams going at it. And we've come away with a bonus point win. And like I said, Oyonnax for the most part were very good. They're very competent. But in the last 10 minutes, yes, there were mistakes being made, not helped by the wind. I mean, that Cleveland's kick by the fullback, that was just comedy, wasn't it? Like he kicked it, it goes straight up in the air. It literally lands in Rio Dyer's hands. But that was the wind more than anything. But it did get a bit ridiculous those last 10 minutes. But no, it was a very good win. Very, very happy with that.
Cool. Okay, let's quickly run through the Ospreys then. James, what thoughts on the game from last weekend?
Do you know, as I had a mate text me who's a neutral, he said he really enjoyed this game, and I genuinely thought it was an enjoyable watch. On the surface, you'd probably think, 43-34, 2 awful defences. But actually, it wasn't. Both defences. Ospreys only got it here. Ospreys had a 92% tackle completion, and Benetton 89. It was just simply Benetton couldn't cope with them all, and Ospreys just couldn't cope. Ospreys defended too narrow. So, Retuve goes over, Dogwu goes over, in the wider channels. I have to give a hat tip to Derry Lake. 4 tries in a game. He was excellent.
It's like Johnny Matthews now, isn't he?
Yeah, 100%.
Try record.
Well, he had 17 senior tries before this. He now has 21. So he seriously as an all round performance for 70 minutes. He was brilliant. 100% of the lineup, like I said, carried about 26 times. Morgan Morris, I thought, was excellent. Owen Williams had a much better game than he did out in Benetton last week. Kicked everything, kicked well off the boot. controlled the game back to the Owen Williams that we sort of had last season. For once, I don't have to talk about the Ospreys scrum because they didn't actually have any. I thought this wasn't real, but no, Ospreys had no scrums throughout the whole game. So yeah, we just made up for it with lineouts. But just in general, I credit to the whole coaching team. Only gave away 6 penalties. Kept them to all right. They scored a bonus point, but only missing 12 tackles out of 130. I thought the refereeing on the whole was really good. I did think that hit on Tom Bota at least warranted a look at. The fact that it wasn't was a bit dodgy for me. But look, we won the game. We only came up with 1 injury, and that's looks like Ruben Morgan-Williams is going to miss the game next week with a head injury. He got absolutely rocked. I don't know how he passed his HIA and came back on, but he got absolutely rocked. So, other than that, it was just a really good game to watch, and I'm really happy that that we responded to the loss last week. Lee, I can see you timing me. Shut up.
I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't.
No, all serious, I thought it was a really good game. Just really good. 6 tries is not something the Ospreys do often, and to do it in style in front of about 12 people was brilliant. And I do want to give a shout out to very quickly to the Ospreys as an organisation. My grandfather, who I attend all the games with, or as many as I can now that I'm living in England, he does dress up as Father Christmas at this time of the year for charities and for kids. And the Ospreys invited him back down this year, and he did it for all the players, kids and staff kids, and he had a brilliant time, and they were absolutely excellent to him. So if anyone from the Ospreys is listening, big thank you, because it really does make the Ospreys are his life. It really did make his evening doing that.
Fantastic, well done, good. So Francisco, we'll finish up on you. So what are you making of Welsh rugby this season then? As just as an overview, you've heard all 4 of us moan in various different ways. Even the ones that win still manage to bit of moaning there about how crap we are. So what are you making of Welsh rugby at the minute this season?
Look, I come from a country that after the World Cup, everything smells of roses, but at the end of the day, it's a bit like Wales, but much worse. Because, just to sum things up, I think every union or every country has its problems. I know Wales, you kick too much yourselves. You auto-inflict pain. It's incredible. You win and you're sad about it. Look, this weekend, since yesterday, the English haven't shut up. The Premiership might be shit, but we conquered the Champions Cup and the Challenge Cup. It's just the freaking first round. It doesn't count for anything. What it counts is the semifinals and the final. That's it. And at the end of the day, I think the Welsh sides, you have a problem with your union, and it's a big one from what I've heard, read, and I just don't know where they want to go with it, because you have the players, you have the structure. I think the coaching staff, it's not that good, because like 15 years ago, I remember a lot of Welsh coach came to Portugal and Spain and give lectures, try to help teams go around. And for the last 15 years, especially the last 5 years, I haven't seen a Welsh coach come to Portugal, for example. A lot of English, a lot of Irish, South Africans, but no Welsh. And it's interesting. It's interesting this change of scenery, of knowledge that some unions had, because for a long time, if you come to Portugal, not Madeira, because Madeira is more Irish than Welsh. in terms of support, because we have a lot of a big Irish community here. But if you go to Lisbon, there's a big Welsh Portuguese community in terms of supporting the Welsh rugby team. But it's old people, or it's like more old people, like 55, 60, 70, 80.
Like Lee, for example. Yeah.
or Hugh on his heart, because Hugh in his heart is a very old man. But and when I see the problems you have from the misogynist takes, or invest in a hotel when the academies need money, it's funny, because I've seen the same problems in Portugal. I've seen the same problems in Italy, but the new administration, they have changed the mentality and the mindset of the things they want to do in the future. And I think at the moment you are lost between the past and the results of the present doesn't help. And but it's quite funny, because I have seen the Cardiff games. I have not seen one game from the Scarlets aside that win that you got against Cardiff, which was a robbery of the highest degree. And let's not talk about it. But the setting is beautiful. You have great of young kids, but even in youth teams, it's not clicking. Something I've seen the sevens, it's not clicking, and I've seen the women, even the women's sides, which were very powerful. At the moment, they're falling, and it's something is not working. And I think it's up not only to the fans but to the players to start giving their voices, start to turn on their voices and ask for good change, not like stupid crap change like the guy from Argentina now that this goes to the bin, this goes to the bin. It doesn't work like that. You need change, and you need positive change. I know what it is, because I'm not in Wales, but I know it starts from the top. You can't have those fellas that have old mentality of thinking that it's the same old boys club. You have to change, and it must change now, because the World Cup is 4 years from now, and it's always the main stage for everyone.
Fantastic. You see, and this is why I love having Francisco on the pod. Francisco, thank you very much.
Francois.
Thank you very much for your time this evening, my friend. It's always a pleasure, and you're always welcome back on the pod. So it's been great. So before we finish up, just one very quick small thing. We have got something surprising coming for Christmas. We have got some Christmas special stuff coming. It will be on YouTube. We're putting the finishing touches to it now. So have a look on our YouTube channel, subscribe to our YouTube channel, because Sunday the 18th, hopefully, fingers crossed, everything will be sorted and it'll go out Sunday the 18th. And it should be great, and it should be fantastic, and it'll keep you busy all through Christmas. So keep an eye on that. And in the meantime, enjoy your rugby this weekend, gents. Not too much, but enjoy your rugby this weekend. And we'll meet up again next week, and we'll do it all again. Last one before Christmas next week. Wow. Who'd have thought? There we go. Anyway, have a good one, gents. Thanks for your time tonight. Toodle pips.
Thank you all.
Ta-ra.
Thank you for listening to the Rap Podcast. We hope you enjoyed listening as much as we enjoyed recording it. Please do rate us and tell your friends, as it really helps us to grow and get better. We'll be back next week with more of the same, and until then, enjoy your rugby.
Sports Social Podcast Network.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.